Hello, BLE520 students. My name is Amy Marcos and I'm the lead instructor for this course. I just wanted to take some time and do a little screencast to overview Lesson 2 and talk through some of the key components for your assignments related to this lesson. I'll do my best to post these screencasts at the official start day of each lesson, so while you'll have access to course materials about a week in advance, you can look for these lesson overview screencasts on the start date of each lesson. Okay, so you can navigate to Lesson 2 by going through Learning Materials and then clicking on Lesson 2. And so the first thing that you're always going to see when you open up our lessons is an overview. And you'll notice that in this lesson we're going to be focusing on kind of like the historical context for education and language policies affecting ELLs. And in this lesson, you've got a handful of assignments due. You're going to participate in 3 different discussion boards. You're going to submit a reading reflection. You're going to submit your individual plan of action for your final project. And you're also going to put together your teams for your RSA assignment, which is that collaborative project you'll work on. So I'm going to click through some of the components here. So first, the first page you get to is creating groups for your RSA. You're going to want to look for peers, people to work with in your group that have similar teaching contexts or interests as you do. So for example, if you're a high school science teacher, try to see if there are other high school science teachers as well. Or if you're a 5th grade teacher, look for other upper elementary teachers to work with. If you're not a teacher, then you can seek out people who are also not teachers, and or you can seek out teachers who teach or work with students that are of interest to you. Please know that for each group's discussion board, whether you're in Group A, Group B, or Group C, I've gone in and I've created a thread that you can use in the virtual office for establishing groups for the RSA. So this is a great place to go in and post ideas about, who you're looking to work with, how many more people you need for your group, etc. Remember, you can have between 2 and 3 people in the collaborative project. So this is the week to create the groups for your RSA. When you have a group together, one person will submit this group charter, but you guys need to talk through the ideas in the charter and come up with agreements, rules, and guidelines for how your group is going to work together and how you plan to be successful with submitting assignments related to the RSA project. So I also said you're going to participate in 3 different discussion boards, and one of the boards is about a pre-discussion. So before you engage in any of the reading materials or look over the PowerPoint, things of that nature, go ahead and step in and do your initial post in this pre-discussion. You'll also notice by referencing the course schedule that starting in Lesson 2, there's some consistent due dates for your discussion boards. So from here forward in the class, your initial posts for discussion boards are due by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. And then your response posts will be due on Fridays by 11:59 p.m. So this is the first discussion you're going to work on this week. The second discussion is food for thought, right? And thinking about ideas from last week and how they also relate to Lesson 2 materials. So that's your second discussion board for this week. You're also going to see some required readings for this week. This will be partnered with the reading reflection that we'll talk about in just a minute. But you're reading a chapter from one of our required texts, which is Making Content Comprehensible for ELLs, the SIOP model. So you're going to read chapter 1 there. And then you're going to read 2 articles that are included, or 2 pieces of text that are included here in our Blackboard shell related to court case rulings and the history of ELL education. You also have another PowerPoint presentation, slides that are created related to the history, perceptions, and issues surrounding ELL education. And for those of you that pointed out in Lesson 1 that there were no notes pages attached to the PowerPoints, thank you for making that apparent to me. I'm new to this course, brand new. I got in just a few days after you guys had access to the shell, and I've been looking for inconsistencies, but I missed that. So you will see that in future PowerPoint materials, there is no longer a note to read the notes pages because those are not included. But you can look through, and this will be another access to information about the history of ELL education. The last discussion board for this lesson is a discussion board related to policies and histories affecting ELLs. And so you'll want to do that after you've read through the materials for this week. Like I said, you're also going to submit a reading reflection. So this is the first of many reading reflections that you'll complete. And the 2 big ideas that you want to remember about your reading reflections are that your reading reflections should identify the key ideas and most important points that you've taken from the readings, but they also need to go beyond that to not just end as a summary, but include a synthesis, right? So combining what you read with what it means for you as a teacher or an individual, right? So making some clear connections to the text that you engage with and their application to your experiences and work. There's a rubric that you can reference as well for how your reading reflections will be graded. And then the last thing you're going to do this lesson is submit a plan for your final project. So for your final project, you have two options. Both include deciding on a topic and conducting a literature review. But option one, you're going to conduct an oral history as well by interviewing an English language learner and then connecting that interview data to your literature review and typing and writing up a final report about what you found out. Option two excludes the interview and just focuses on more of a literature review, including a review and integration of 25 scholarly articles or writings on a topic of your choosing. So at the end of lesson 2, you're going to turn in your lesson plan of action. Let us know what option you've chosen and how you plan to be successful meeting the timelines for this assignment. Because both options include a little bit of a literature review, if you haven't written in a literature review before, or if you have and you just need a reminder, I've included some resources here to help you get up to speed with what a literature review includes. So that's our overview of the assignments for lesson 2. If you do have any questions, continue to use the virtual office. You guys have been great with that for lesson 1. It's an awesome place to post questions that you have about the course, the assignments, the information in our shell, and others can read your questions, answer them, and your instructors can get there as well. So thanks for participating in the course, for sharing your learning with us, and we look forward to working with you again through lesson 2.